From the zip folder in Canvas, I've opened up the Pear Illustrator file, and we've got a template here, as you can see. The first layer is locked, and that's the template layer that we're going to use as a guide to draw on layer 1. So we got various parts here. There's a pear, a stem, an arrow, and a leaf that we're going to draw. And this diagram will help us draw the various shapes. I think I'll start off with the straight line first. That's the easiest one to do. We're going to draw an arrow, and I want to make sure for all of these drawings that I have no fill and a black one-point stroke. So I'm just going to draw a straight line from A to B. I'll press V on my keyboard to deselect the pen tool, and then I'll press the Alt key to duplicate that line. I'll select one of the lines, and I want to put a little tail on it for the arrow. So I'll open up my stroke panel, and I want to add a tail at the start of the path, which is the lower left area of that path. And I'll just pick some tail. You can pick whatever you like. It's a little bit small, so in the scale I'll increase it a bit, or you can decrease it however you see fit for that. So that looks good. I'll select the other line, and this time I'll put an arrowhead at the end point of the path, which is the upper right. I'll select one of those arrowheads, and again it's a little small, so I'll increase the scale of that. So that looks good. We'll use that a little bit later. Now we'll draw the leaf shape, and we'll do that in two parts. So this template, you can see, has some letters that show us where to start and where to drag. So I'm going to click at the letter and then drag out to the red dot. So click, hold, and drag to the red dot. At B, click, hold, and drag to the red dot. And at C, click, hold, and drag to the red dot. I'll press V to deselect the pen tool. That's a pretty simple curve. I'll do the same thing for the second part of the leaf. With my pen tool, click, hold, and drag to the red dot. At B, click, hold, and drag to the red dot. Press V to deselect the pen tool. So now I'm going to select that first curve and drag it down below the second shape to start forming our leaf shape. Now what we have here are two separate paths, and we want to create a closed path. So I'm going to, I'll get the direct selection tool and select those two anchor points there at B. I'll go to Object, down to Path, and over to Join. And now you can see that that has joined those two anchor points into one. I'll do the same thing over here on the left-hand side with the direct selection tool. Select those two anchor points, go to Object, Path, and Join. And now this is one shape, one closed path. So let's draw the stem now. This is going to be a little bit different. I'll get my pen tool. I'll click, hold, and drag at A to the red dot. This time I'll go to B, click, hold, and drag, and then I'll just close that path there at A. I'll get my direct selection tool and select that anchor point at the top and just drag down to the right a little bit to create a kind of a stem shape. So now let's work on the pear. We've got all of our other parts. And again, this diagram will help us draw the correct curves. I'll get my pen tool, again no fill and just a black stroke. At A, I'll click, hold, and drag to the red dot. At B, I'll click, hold, and drag to the red dot. Then I'll hold down Alt or Option to change the direction of the curve. Drag out to the gold or yellow dot, release the Alt Option key, and so on. So click, hold, and drag to the red dot at A. At B, click, hold, and drag to the red dot. Hold down Alt or Option, hover over that last anchor point. Click, hold, and drag out to the yellow dot. Release the Alt Option key. Click, hold, and drag out to the red dot. Hold down Alt Option to change the direction. Click, hold, and drag from the last anchor point to the yellow dot. Release the Alt key. Click, hold, and drag at D to the red dot. Press Alt. Click on the last anchor point, drag to the yellow dot, and so on. At E, I'll just click, hold, and drag to the red dot. At F, click, hold, and drag to the red dot. Click, hold, and drag to the red dot. H, click, hold, and drag to the red dot. And at I and J. And then I'm just going to hover over the A anchor point till I see that circle, click, and close the path. So there's our pear. I need that little curve shape. We're going to make the arrow look like it's piercing through the pear. So I'll get my pen tool and just make a small little curve there. So we've got all of our parts here, and we'll put them all together. I'm going to open up the Layers panel and hide that template layer. So now we can see our shapes better. It's our pear shape. I think I'll get the stem and move that over. It's a little bit big, so I'll reduce the size of it. I'll get the leaf shape and move that into place. That's also a little bit too big, so I'll reduce the size. Maybe change the angle a little bit. Nestle that in there by the stem. Come on, select that stem and move it into place. Sometimes it's a little difficult selecting that. And then I'll get that first part of the arrow. That's maybe a little bit big. I'll reduce the size of it and move it and nestle it into that little curve. And then get the second part of the arrow and move it into place. And now we have some swatches that we can fill these various elements with. I'll select the stem, and in the fill, I'll choose the pear stem color. It's a little brown gradient. I'll select the leaf shape, and I'll choose the pear leaf gradient. I'll select the pear itself, and I'll choose the pear body color. And it looks like I have to arrange some objects. That bottom arrow, I need to bring that to the front, so I'll select it, go to Object, Arrange, and bring to front. There, it looks better. It looks like it's piercing the pear, and I think I'll move that leaf in front, so I'll select that, go to Object, Arrange, and bring to front. So there, we've got a nice little pear shape with an arrow piercing it. Pretty easy to draw using the pen tool, and the template really helps. So there's a pear with a bite out of it.